Here we are at Mr. Tarsem Singh Sandhu's place of work, a place called Tokyo Fabrics International. We're going to continue the story of transport and the turban, and he's going to start off and tell us a little bit about his background, from where he came from in India when he started off, how he got here, and how he continued to find work, and how he ended up in the dispute. Over to Tarsem Singh.
अंग्रेजी जानते हो?
हाँ जी नहीं नहीं जितना सानू ठीक लगता पर अंग्रेजी बेहतर होगी साडे वास्ते.
My name is Tarsem Singh Sandhu, and I came into England in 1962. I had my qualification in Punjab. After leaving my college, didn't do the full degree. Before that, I did some service at the same place where I studied from the school. I did 1 year teaching there back in my school. Because my father arrived in England before me, so in those days, it's what everybody wish. Everybody was hoping that this is a better way of life, because people used to think go to England is a better future. So similarly, I came to England as well.
From whereabouts did you come? Where was your village in India?
My actual village is, I was born in Jandiala, which is my Nanke place. My actual village is Chabbewal, district of Hushiyarpur. But from very young age, I came back to Jandiala as a started in primary school there. Then from there I went to high school, and from there I went to Khalsa College, Jalandhar. And that's where I took my 2 years in Khalsa College, Jalandhar, and after that I came to England.
And your mother's and your father's name?
My mother's name was Tej Kaur, and my father's name was Gulwant Singh Sandhu. And my grandfather's name, I remember now, was Sardar Narang Singh Sandhu.
Narang Singh.
N-O-R-A-N-G, Sandhu.
And brothers and sisters?
I got 5 brothers, 2 sisters.
5 brothers.
We are 5 brothers, 2 sisters.
2
So good.
sisters. And they were all born in Jandiala?
They were all born in Jandiala.
Excellent. What was your accommodation like in Jandiala? Your house, father's house?
My father's house was, originally house was in Chabbewal, but when we moved to Jandiala, my father bought a house in Jandiala. Wasn't very rich family, reasonably, not poor family at the same time. As common people live in India, so we were middle class there, and so our father and mother took us, look after us well, according to the best ability. They gave us education.
Yes.
To the best of their ability. They fed us properly. They clothed properly.
Made sure you had shoes. Your father was fairly well educated?
He was not much educated, but he was fairly, because as I know, he was good in accounts.
Right.
And he was general secretary for 5 cooperative banks in Jandiala. 5, because this, in those days used to be cooperative societies, and which was helping the working people in the area. They were
right.
like organized by government, so he was operating for 5 banks.
Right. So, would you say that you weren't a subsistence family, but you were from a professional family? That's what it sounds like.
I would say so.
Yes, that's good. Your father came to the UK, obviously he was the first one to come to UK.
My uncle was here before, lot before us.
Right. When did he come?
He went to Singapore in 19.
Approximate will do. Doesn't
What,
have to be
52
52
or probably less before.
Okay.
And
Or before.
my father went to Singapore as well,
Right.
and he lived there a short period, and he came back to India. For some reason, he didn't stay there for long. But my uncle was in Singapore for a long time, and then he came to England about 1955, I presume.
And where did he go to?
Wolverhampton.
Why did he come to Wolverhampton?
That I don't know, because he came before us.
So he then obviously had communications with your father,
Yes.
and your father then came to the UK. Do we know when he came to the UK?
He came about 6 months before me, not far away.
Right. What decided your good self to come to the UK?
As my father moved to England, and at the time, what I know, it was most people wish to go abroad for a better future than what was in India. Some people used to.
What was it like in India in '62?
It was okay otherwise, but I'm not saying it was bad in India at the time. But at the same time, everybody, somebody hasn't seen something, he thinks something else is better somewhere else. So just to find it better than what you are, move to England.
So are we saying that life was fairly hard for the ordinary person in India?
Ordinary person life is still hard up to now.
And by today's standard, you've been to India recently. 62, I'm not going to make an assumption here. How much harder or easier is life today and in comparison with 62 in India?
In India, since I think my age to now, it hasn't made much difference. The life in India is not as smooth as should be.
Mm-hmm.
People can't get jobs. If they got qualification, they don't have jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And business, either you are a well-off, then you do a good business. If you are a small trader, it's not much room for you in India at that time and now. It's not easy in India. I wouldn't say many bad things because we came from there, but still the life is hard. The rules and regulations are not what are here. Comparing England to India is day and night. Up here, you work and you earn and you can live easily, comfortably.
Right.
In India, if you don't have a right job, you want to work and you can't live comfortably. And the system is not good. You're not safe there. You don't feel as comfortable as you are here. Like you can walk here at night, you can go here and there tonight. It's a scary life
Yes.
for ordinary persons.
Okay. So your father comes over and he asks you if you want to come over. Then you in '62. What month in '62 did you arrive in the UK?
It was May.
May. So it wasn't too bad.
Not bad.
May. And obviously you came to Wolverhampton because
I
that's
came to
where your father was.
That's right.
And whereabouts in Wolverhampton did you stay?
My uncle was living in a Zoar Street in Wolverhampton.
Zoar Street.
Z-O-A-R.
And that's Penfield.
Penfield.
Behind the Tarsem.
That's right.
Okay, yours.
So that's why first I came.
Yeah. Now, there's a small question of you arriving in the UK and getting your first work. We would like as much detail as possible of what you did on arrival and in between time of finding or starting your first job, please.
My first job was there's a company used to call Bradley and Son in Bilston. I think
Yes.
it's Mount Pleasant.
Yes.
And there was mixed workers, Asians, English,
Sorry,
West Indians.
If I could
They were-
just take you back a step. It's important that we have your first impressions of life in the UK. Is that you arrive in the UK, it's May, you get off the aircraft and you are checked through customs, and obviously I don't want to lead the question, but what did you see, what did you smell, what was the effect of, from the moment you step on British soil, how did you feel, what did you experience, please?
By arriving at the airport and coming back to Wolverhampton,
Yes.
a motorway was something new at the time.
Yes.
You don't see those sort of roads. You don't used to see there's of cleanliness on the cafes.
So you got off at Heathrow.
Yes,
Heathrow.
Heathrow.
So Heathrow to Wolverhampton in those days, even then it was 2-3 hours journey.
that's right.
And what time did the aeroplane land?
It was morning time. I don't exactly know. I think it was 10, 11
So
o'clock.
where did you stop to eat?
Motorway cafe.
What
So
did you eat?
I don't remember that.
You have
must
fish
have,
and chips
must have.
or-
No, not fish and chips.
or-
I had some cakes and tea.
Right.
Yeah.
So you had your first taste of cake then?
And in English, in England.
Right.
Yes. I had tasted cakes in India, but the way, the cleanliness, atmosphere, people's behavior, the way they speak to you, they don't speak to you like an ordinary person. They speak to you like you are one of their guests. You go to any shop, they have got a sense of humor to speak to you, which you only experience when you see here. Then you had a shop in India.
Right.
How will they speak to you? How would they treat you here?
Right.
So it was everything impressive, and you can feel you are in a different environment. You can feel you have come to a different sort of atmosphere altogether.
Okay, so you were very impressed
Very
with
impressed.
life in the UK
Yeah.
and the roads, and the road system and the layout, the traffic, the
That's
traffic
right.
lights.
Yes.
Okay. So you arrive in Wolverhampton, you're in Zoar Street. Obviously, it is going to be a little gap between your arriving and starting work. Did you go to Wolverhampton town, the shopping centres, and did you go to the Gurdwaras? So the first few days, please.
The Gurdwara at the time I didn't found straight away
Right.
when I came to Wolverhampton. It was after I was working few weeks, then I heard there's a Gurdwara as well. So in that time the Gurdwara was, I presume, where the bus station now in Wolverhampton, not bus station, coach station,
Thornley Street.
somewhere.
Right.
There was a
Or are we talking about the Ramgarhia
no,
Gurdwara?
no. It was originally it was a small factory or some place which was rented at the time, and that's where the Gurdwara started before us.
The YMCA?
No, it wasn't
Okay.
YMCA.
It
It
was
was
before
a
that?
different one. That's not there anymore now.
Okay. And did you have a walk around town?
Yes, went to walk around the town, and you see the shops, clean shops, and everything was different altogether. Not congested like if you go to Jalandhar city, the roads, some rickshaw come from this side, some cycle come from this side. They don't let you walk, even people rushing you around.
Yes.
It was not like that. It was nice and quiet.
Orderly traffic.
Orderly traffic.
And no bicycles and no horns blowing everywhere?
There were no horns blowing. There used to be a lot of bikes in those days because cars were not as many.
Yes.
People used to ride bike to work or bus. In those days, I think when I first came, I can remember there was only 5 Asian peoples who had either van or a car.
Where?
In Wolverhampton.
In your street or?
No, in the town.
In the whole town?
In the whole town.
Wow.
There was, I believe that one was an insurance broker.
Right.
He had a car because his job was like going to people's houses.
Yes.
3 vans. There were 3 shopkeepers. There are 3 vans. And there's one young lad who was working somewhere, I don't know where, before, and I saw him with the car. And didn't see many people in the car.
No.
No. And in the evening, you could count how many cars going on the road. It's either some company directors or some. A car was not like everybody's choice at the time. Not people had cars.
Did you ever eat out? Did you go to a restaurant or a pub
No.
or anything like that?
Yes, I went with my uncle.
Right.
Few places. Like I wasn't used to, but yes, I went with him to the pub. I went with him to some restaurants as well to eat. Yes, went that.
And so really, what was your impression of these places?
Everywhere is clean and tidy and impressive. The treatment, it was good.
So you weren't abused at that time? Nobody
No.
said to you, go home? Or
No.
None of that?
I know those things came up a bit later on, or it started a bit earlier as well.
And at that time you still had your beard and your turban?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Excuse me, no. Because first thing they used to do in those days, okay, I had my turban for a couple of days.
Only 2 days?
2 or 3 days maximum, I know, until I was hidden by others.
Right.
They used to, Asians, your relatives or your friends, wherever you come to join them,
Yes.
because they were all clean shaven.
Right.
So they will try to sort of they will tell you that you can't get a job without unless you got unless you take your turban off.
Yes.
And if you still don't listen to them, they forcefully used to do it. So same thing happened to me. 3 of them held my arms and one of them cut my hairs and then they took me to barber. But I know at the time why they did that. If you go to barber yourself,
Yes.
they refuse to cut your hairs.
Right.
They had the respect for it. Barber will not cut your hair until you have already cut. So that's why they forcefully cut my hairs at home and then took me to barber.
The barbers refused to do the first cut.
Yeah.
Okay. So a couple of days, 3 days later, you've got no hair,
Yeah.
and your uncle says, "Aja put tanu shahar dikhaiye."
Not only him. It was like a gang of 4 or 5. So they cut my hairs. Sort of no choice. So it was very hurtful when you don't. It's against your wish. It was very hurtful. Okay, you get used to after a few weeks, but it's not easy. It was not easy.
At that time, you're in the pub, you've got your drink. They presumably would have explained to you what life is like in the UK at that time. Can you recall any of those conversations?
All they used to see that if you want to go to work, you can't find a job, but I don't think it was as bad. It was probably bad, but if somebody stands for it, then things could have been changed, as it changed after 3-4 years.
So basically you're saying they said to you, turban and beard, you won't get the job. Without that, you'll get the job quite easily.
Second thing is because everybody, 99.9% had their